Fictional universes like Star Wars and Star Trek are vast. Thousands of species, thousands of planets, and endless stories and lives that are ready to be told and expanded upon. Yet, tell too much of one, and people will find it excessive. Stories of characters from Luke, Revan, Picard, and whatnot are already sufficient to some. Adding to it would seem blasphemous. Yet, ironically, while these characters already have their lives written out in full view for us to see, we can't exactly say the same thing about our own lives. Especially for people who are going to adulthood in their early 20s. The number of directions our lives can take us is seemingly endless. Parents, society, and maybe our peers have dictated much of what our lives look like, what school we went, what course we took, what clubs we joined, the interests and hobbies that we had. Yet, right now out of college, or maybe some people who chose to forego college altogether, there is already no set plan for us really. Considering the many fictions and fandoms we consumed, we know how the story ends. We know what shall happen. Of course, whether we agree whether that is the way the story should have played out is a whole nother topic. But my point is, we are often enamored by charismatic characters with depth of wisdom and experience. Think Kreia, her differing views of the Jedi and the Sith, meant to be a challenge to the whole Star Wars rhetoric. Revan and Luke are not so far off, as I'll presume. Characters that, as a child, Star Wars fans will look up to, going on to fulfill their destinies of as great heroes of the galaxy. If only life would be better off if we have such a mentor to guide us, who knows how the universe works, and perhaps we shall become as wise and knowledgeable as them. Then we shall know what to do, how to do it, and live to our fullest potential. Right? Honestly, it's not as straightforward as that. Our lives are our own to live, not theirs. The path that they partook, the path that they took, may be similar, but not the exhaustive way to live. Those who try hard to be their mentors or their fathers aren't really in control. Living your life in comparison to others, or in pursuit of another man's dreams, is not something one should do. Sooner or later, the question will come back and bite you. How much of you is really your own? The healthier way to look at it, however, is to see their lives as lessons we can learn. To be inspired by it, sure, but not to copy word for word. These characters may seem like the peak of humanity, of evolution, or whatever, because we've witnessed their greatest feats. Luke redeeming Vader, becoming Grand Master of the Order, Revan saving the Republic, defeating Vitiate. But what we fail to realize, or fail to focus on, is their failures, the lowest point of their lives. We lose confidence because we often compare our lows with the heights of other people's lives. We want to reach the top of the cliff, but forget that the path up to the top is often steep and challenging. And better yet, there may even be a cliff right after the next cliff. Think of Luke in Empire Strikes Back, or Revan being trapped under Vitiate's control, and you would have a fairer picture of what these characters really going through. Even then, the things that they did meant to have good outcomes, but they certainly weren't the best. They just did what they were convicted of at the time. They don't claim to know all the answers or have all the secrets of the universe. Even Kreia, who dedicated her entire life to becoming a Jedi historian and later a Sith teacher, dedicating much of her life to learning why Revan turned from the Jedi, what she knows or claims to know is frankly nothing comparable to say like a cosmic characters like the father, the son, and the daughter. The knowledge of the universe itself. Her views on the Star Wars universe give us additional perspective, but aren't sufficient to stand on their own. As usual, everything must be taken with a grain of salt. And frankly, this fact of life applies all the more to us in the real world. We aren't connected to some mystical, supernatural mumbo-jumbo force that can grant us abilities like telepathy or preconnection. Only our hearts and minds. If all humanity only acted when they knew everything, we'll fail spectacularly as a species. Think of the conflicts and wars and everything our ancestors have to go through as the key driver for innovation and survival. Because if all the questions in the universe we have already been answered, then fundamentally I do not know how this world will work, and it will raise even more questions, leaving us with a paradox. So maybe in this flawed reality of ours, the only course of action is to accept that we don't hold all the answers and try to find it for ourselves from there. And that's it for this video. These are my thoughts. What do you think of this? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, if you'd like to see more stuff related to Star Wars, the Old Republic, and artificial intelligence, do check out the rest of my channel. Cheers!